Hi, I'm Shelley. I'm at Yoga Sanctuary in Minneapolis, and I'd love to explore one pose with you today. It's amazing, all of these shapes or asanas in yoga can be explored sitting down, lying down, standing up at the wall in a chair. So we're going to explore figure four today in a few different ways. So the purpose of figure four is we were to stretch through the outer legs and then also to extend and lengthen the spine. It's also a balancing pose. So we'll tap into our drishti or our gaze a little bit as well. All right, so if you're ready, let's just do a little bit of kind of body awareness to begin with. So standing on both of your feet, lift and spread your toes. And then as you set the toes down, feel some energy through the feet and let that energy lift you through the crown of the head. When the spine is extended upward, this shape is called spinal extension. So you might shrug your shoulders, you might shake your hips a little side to side. And then as you're ready, breathe in, push through the feet, lift the arms wide. Maybe stay here as you exhale, press into the feet again and extend through the fingertips. We're gonna stay for one more breath. Feeling the spine in extension. And then as you exhale, bring your hands to your outer thighs, push your hips back. This is working toward that Z shape. Push your hips back. And then when your spine's about halfway, bending the knees, let your spine round and fold forward. When you're in that forward fold shape, nod your head yes and shake your head no. And just notice how the neck and the head and everything feels. When you breathe in, push into the feet, maybe extend the spine a little bit again, reaching through the crown of your head. And as you exhale, fold, shake out the head. And then feeling the feet nice and active here, bring your hands to your knees. We'll push the hips back, bend the knees, and lift the chest. So now we're in a supported chair pose. I'd like you to see and imagine yourself in this Z shape. So the feet are planted underneath the knees are forward of the hips are back, and then the spine is neither rounded, so you're not rounding and kind of shrugging the shoulders up, and you're not sinking in the back and pulling the shoulders away from the ears. It's just kind of aligned here. So this Z shape is the shape of a figure four. I'm gonna take one more inhale here, noticing what you feel, plenty of work for the legs. And as you exhale, fold forward again. Breathing out, and then breathe in, bend your knees, and rise up. We'll bring the arms out to the sides, lifting through the hands, and breathe out, lower the hands down. Beautiful. Shake it out a little bit. We're gonna start on your bottom. If you have a blanket nearby, go ahead and find that blanket. We're gonna start in a figure four on the ground. So you might bring your feet forward on the mat in front of your hips and then the hands on the shins. Find some more spinal mobility. Rock the chest forward as you breathe in. You're gonna find a little back bend. And as you breathe out, rounding, tuck the chin, feel the spine in this C shape. And do that one more time, just familiarizing yourself. Inhale, rock forward, chest forward and open, and then rounding and tucking belly button in. And we'll come up and find a neutral spine. So we're neither in that back bend nor that forward fold action. The spine is extended. Beautiful. And from here, extend your left leg forward. You're going to push through your left heel. The most modified seated version for this would be to take a blanket and roll that blanket up into a nice sturdy roll. Slide it underneath your left leg. And this would be if your hamstrings are tight. So I happen to have pretty flexible hamstrings. So you could extend through that left heel and then cross your right ankle over the left knee. This can feel pretty good. So if you lift through the crown of the head, fingertips on the ground, away from the body but in line with your shoulders, and breathing in here. Find your drishti. So set your gaze past that left big toe, keep the chest open, and then we soften. So we start with that nice, steady gaze. And then as you breathe here, you might shift the chest forward. Remember that Z shape. So try not to round. The practice of aparigraha, which is not stealing, or pardon me, asteya is not stealing, aparigraha, not grasping. So similar concepts. Sometimes when we get into these postures, we think we should have more than we actually do have. So maybe you're fairly upright. You could stay here and take another breath. You might bring your right elbow to the right knee, your left hand to your left or to the ankle and shift forward a little bit more. And then the tendency is to like curl up and round in, but we're going to keep that spinal extension. And then the left foot is flexed as if you're standing on the floor. And we'll come up. I'll show you a variation on the other side. So as you unwind, send your right leg forward. We'll cross the left ankle over the right knee. Hands out to the side, lifting the spine tall. Your feet are flexed as if you're standing on the ground. Breathe in. And setting your gaze. And then maybe shift forward. You could stay here. This might be just right for you, or maybe like one hand on the knee, one hand on the ankle. Just gently a weighted hand on the left knee, pressing it away from your ribs. If you'd like more, you could put your right foot on the mat and then hands behind, and then walk your right foot in closer to your body and your chest in closer to that left thigh. This might or might not feel good to you. What we don't want is to feel it in the joints. So we want to feel a little less work into the hip flexor and more the hip flexor in the front inside of your hip and more stretch on the outer hip. Take one more breath wherever you're at. Eyes soft. And then to come out, if you're in that kind of deeper bend, make sure you create space. So bend your elbows, walk your hands back. Unwind the legs, and we'll send both legs forward and bobble those legs out. Nice. We'll roll the feet around. And then if you want just a little bit more support, you could use a chair. So we could stand up and then shake it all out. You might sit on your chair, especially the edge of your chair. This is definitely recommended if you're sitting at a desk often, because the tendency is to cross both legs into the midline or let the knees kind of hang in, and not great for the hips or alignment. So if you keep your left foot in line with your left hip and then cross your right ankle over the left knee in that figure 4 shape, just notice if you feel anything in your right knee. This is very twisty, lots of kind of twister here. Take a breath in and out, and maybe you stay here, flexing the right toes, and breathe in. Find your drishti. Keep the back of the head drawing back. And then just notice, is there any more available as you breathe in and out of the hip and the knee? Maybe the right elbow softens onto the leg with ease. For me, I can feel almost an immediate softening through the eyes, around the eyes and the cheeks and the jaw. The hips are tricky. They hold lots and lots of unresolved memories, tension, trauma, whatever you might have, and we don't really need to talk about it here, but we do need to breathe. So breathing into the areas of tension will just help all in all in all. Take one more breath here. We never force the body. We just invite it. And then as you come up to a tall seat, shake it out, right foot down. Shake out your toes and your ankles, and we'll cross the left ankle over the right. Right away, shift the pelvis slightly forward, lift through the crown of the head. Nice big inhale, exhale, stay here. Kind of check in with your body. My left hip is usually tighter than the right, and you'll know this because the knee will lift higher up. So when it's tight, it's coming up. When it's looser, which a lot of people have very loose joints too, it might hang down. So either way, we want to find that stability. And then we'll breathe in to lengthen. And take about 2 breaths here, shifting the hips back and the chest forward. Finding the breath. Nice soft gaze. Conscious awareness. It's so fun. I feel a little bit like Mr. Rogers being with you today. And breathe in, lift your spine, shake out the legs and the hips, and then we'll come to stand. Remember, in the standing pose, you could put your buttocks against the wall. If you are ready for like a balance without the wall, then stay here. Either way, we'll come into that supported chair pose. So hands on the knees, reconnect with your spine. So lifting the chest and the crown of the head forward, and then situate yourself on your left foot. And bring your hands to your heart center. And then tiptoe your right toes. If it works for you, you could lift the right toes up or possibly cross the right ankle over the left knee. Tap into that drishti, maybe right hand to your right knee, left hand to the left knee. Shifting the hips back, breathing. If you fall out, that's okay. And then maybe the left elbow to your right ankle, right elbow to right knee, thumbs toward heart center. Take another breath, stay present, strong, and then we'll rise up. Very nice. Shake it out. And we'll do the other side. So make sure you wiggle and wobble around. It's a lot for your hips. Finding that supported chair pose, hands on the knees, lift through the chest. Right foot stays here, tiptoe the left, and maybe cross the left ankle over the right knee. You might start with your hands at your heart or hand on knee and ankle. Remember, push the hips back if you're lowering down. Gaze is steady. Breath is steady. You could stay here 1 or 2 more breaths. Nice, and then we'll breathe in, come up to stand. Again, shake out those awesome hips of yours. And we'll do one more version. So if you have a chair, or the wall works too. I'll just use the chair today. And then you come down, and we'll imagine that the front of the chair seat is the wall. So if you're at the wall and you lie down, you might put your right foot on the wall so that the right knee is bent at 90 degrees. Again, same shape. This time the spine is supported by the floor. And then maybe I like my right hand on my right thigh so I don't have to reach for my foot. But left hand on the knee, gently push the knee away. And now there's no weight on the joints, which is one of the benefits of being on your back. You still want to bring some active awareness to the left foot, but you don't have to do quite as much as if you're standing. So take a breath here. And then, of course, a deeper version would be lying on your back, pulling that right knee in. I like to hold the top of my right knee with my right hand, and then my whole left forearm is on my left shin. Soften or close your eyes. You might gently rock to one side, just a few inches, and the other, and notice what you're feeling. Find your deep inhalation, steady exhale. Let the eyes soften or close. Stay here for another breath. If you have more time, stay longer. And then we'll unwind. The legs might open wide. You might roll your ankles out, and then other side. So left foot to the wall or the chair. Exhaling out the mouth, sighing, let it go. And then our supported figure 4, left foot at the wall or the chair. Right hand on the right knee. Left hand maybe resting on the left thigh. Stay here if this is good for you. Remember, we never force the body, we invite it. And so just check in today, at this moment. Does your body want more? And if it does want more stretch, pull the left knee in, left hand on top of the knee. Maybe gently press your right knee out. Soften or close your eyes and stay here for 2 or 3 more breaths. And invite in joy or peace, maybe gratitude, whatever it is that would serve you well today and that would nourish you. And then we'll unwind. Both feet can rest on the wall, or you could soften the legs onto the chair, set your feet onto the floor, open the arms wide, take a big breath in and out. And just pause for a moment to let some of that unwinding energy settle back in. When you feel ready to move, Take a couple breaths and roll to your side. If you can stay longer, stay longer. And thanks for being with me today and practicing one pose, and that pose was figure 4. I look forward to seeing you in the studio or on the screen.